And hello, everybody, the True Crime family. We are back together and we are talking the biggest moments in true crime this week, talking about the true crime cases and the trials across the country. And we are getting you ready for what's next in court. Together this week, we have already watched a big verdict come down. We're going to be talking about that woman, the grief author who kind of plagiarized, Corey Richins, who's going to be spending the rest of her life behind bars, found guilty after just a few hours of that jury in Utah deliberating, just a couple hours. And what's next for the grief author? Well, the mother of three, she is going to be sentenced on a very important day for the victim's family. We'll explain all of that. And then we had two trials that began with those opening statements just a couple days ago, including one in Hawaii, a paradise attempted murder by a doctor and anesthesiologist. That was a fascinating case that's beginning to play out there. And there has been some key eyewitnesses that have taken the stand. And on Friday, the alleged victim in all of this was supposed to face her husband in court, but that didn't happen. So she's going to be on the stand beginning of the following week on Monday or Tuesday. So there's a preview there. And then the case in Georgia that is really heating up. I was calling it the fit of rage trial about the dentist accused of shooting and killing her live-in boyfriend. They had just moved into the house through a door after being what's described as a fit of rage by prosecutors. We watched those opening statements live, and thank you for joining. So be sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for live events like this, because we are bringing this true crime family back together. And join the chat. I'm on some new hardware right now, so I'll be getting to the chat in just a little bit, but I am a one-man show here, and let's begin the show, right? So let's begin there in Utah. This grieving author trial, Corey Richins found guilty. She was facing a number of charges, including forgery, fraud, and of course, murder. And she looked surprised as she sat there and listened to the verdict be read. I have it ready, and let's play it together and watch.
All right. Counsel, Ms. Richins, please stand. Count one, aggravated murder. We, the jury, unanimously find that the defendant, Corey Richins, is guilty of aggravated murder. We, the jury, unanimously agree that the prosecution has proved the following circumstance or circumstances regarding count one beyond a reasonable doubt. The homicide was committed for pecuniary gain, and the homicide was committed by means of the administration of any substance administered in a lethal amount, dosage, or quantity. Count two, attempted aggravated murder. We, the jury, unanimously find that the defendant, Corey Richins, is guilty of attempted aggravated murder. We, the jury, unanimously agree the prosecution has proved the following circumstances regarding count two beyond a reasonable doubt. The attempted homicide was committed for pecuniary gain. Count three, insurance fraud. We, the jury, unanimously find that the defendant, Corey Richins, is guilty of insurance fraud. Count four, insurance fraud. We, the jury, unanimously find that the defendant, Corey Richins, is guilty of insurance fraud. Count five, forgery. We, the jury, unanimously find that the defendant, Corey Richins, is guilty of forgery. It's signed by the foreperson. Please have a seat. Madam Foreperson, is this the verdict that the jury reached unanimously?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you may.
Okay, so there you have it. Right there, found guilty on all charges. Corey Richins was in shock, disbelief, looking down, shaking her head. I mean, she had to know, right? She had all that premeditation where she got the housekeeper to help her buy drugs. She wanted the Michael Jackson stuff. And she planned this cold, calculated murder against her husband, Eric. And God rest his soul. And please be with his family, especially those 3 little beautiful boys he leaves behind. It is just heartbreaking and sickening what she did to the entire community, her family, and his family. But you know what? Her sentencing day coming up, and that's going to be on what would have been his 44th birthday. So one of the jurors who was part of the deliberations, remember there was only 8 jurors that had to agree in this case, and that were the deliberating jurors. One of our friends in true crime, Nate Eaton, had interviewed one of the jurors after the verdict. I'm going to look that up right here, and we're going to watch it together. I'm going to bring that in. Here we go.
That's the only word that I can adequately use. I was thankful it was done. I didn't feel that we rushed the decision. I didn't feel that we overlooked anything. We were as meticulous and thorough as 8 strangers can be. And one comment from the judge when he came in to speak to us after it was over, we asked him, did we do the right thing? And he just smiled and in a very judgerly way said, if 8 strangers can come into a room and be unanimous about anything, then you've made the right decision. Mm. And I love that, because we are all different people from different walks of life and different ages. I mean, there was a young guy all the way up to a 70-year-old woman. We were a wide variety of ages and demographics and experiences. And I think we did the right thing.
Would you want to talk to Corey Richins?
I don't think I would. I feel like I'm sad for her. I'm sad that she felt like money was going to solve her problems. I'm sad that she felt that it was okay to harm another human being and the person that you're supposed to love more than anybody. I'm sad she took away the father of her sons. I don't think that I would have anything that I want to say to her. I just feel sad for her. I feel sorry for her. My heart aches.
What would you say to people that have questions about serving on jury duty?
You know, I would say that I think you have a moral duty to take the obligation very seriously and to perform it to the best of your ability. I felt for me that it was a sacred responsibility that I had to listen with an open mind and to not make judgments too quickly and to hear all the evidence and then to have the courage to make a verdict, have the courage to choose whether someone was guilty or not guilty. And so I think anybody who is given the opportunity shouldn't try to get out of it. If you have the ability to, I think you should serve. I think it's a responsibility, and I'm proud that I served, and I'm grateful for the experience, even if it was one that I wouldn't have wished for myself. I'm grateful for the lessons that I'm taking with me.
All right, so that was that juror. Let me click out of it because I'm hearing it here. That was one of the jurors that was interviewed by our friend Nate Eaton. So be sure to follow him on his YouTube channel. He's a fantastic interviewer and also just a really good guy and a great journalist. I spent many days with him covering the Lori Vallow Daybell Doomsday Cult Mom trial. 1 and 2, and then also Chad Daybell, the Doomsday Prophet trial there in Idaho. So hats off to him for getting that interview. But let's underscore the fact that it's not just civic duty. It's how our justice system works in these United States. And really, you're being judged by your peers. Corey Richins could have chosen to take the stand. She chose not to testify and tell her story. She rolled the dice, and it didn't go her way. So what's next for the mother of three, the terrible writer, according to prosecutors? She had a ghostwriter, but so this convicted killer is likely to spend life behind bars. She's facing on the top charge a minimum of 25 years to life. She's going to be sentenced at 9:30 in the morning local time on May 13th. And again, that would have been the victim, Eric Richens' 44th birthday. Again, our thoughts and our prayers are with those three little boys that are now left with no parents. I really hope that they are able to be okay. Okay, as we continue with our top stories happening right now in true crime, we are going to move to the island of Hawaii. Actually, several islands make up that state. It's a beautiful one. And unfortunately, attempted murder happened in Paradise, according to prosecutors there. We have this anesthesiologist who is on trial for attempted murder. Attempted second-degree murder is one of the charges. He's accused of kind of plotting this whole thing. He and his wife, Ariel, lived on a different island. They were having problems in the marriage. They decided to work it out. He was accusing her of having an affair, texting somebody else in various apps. And his defense says that she was unfaithful, unwilling, and all of this is untrue. Well, it's going to be a he said, she said kind of case. And that's what has been playing out there in that Hawaii courtroom so far. But Friday was supposed to be a very big day. The state star witness was supposed to testify. It was the alleged victim herself, but that didn't happen. I have a report here that I found online with the local Hawaii News Now. I'm going to bring that in. And we can watch it together. Let's see. Let's see. There we go. New software, but hopefully less gremlins.
First day of trial for a Maui doctor accused of trying to kill his wife. Mahealani Richardson has the story.
Ariel Koenig was supposed to take the stand on Friday, but that's been delayed until Tuesday after the defense argued over parts of her last-minute testimony.
One piece of evidence released on the first day of 47-year-old Gerhard Koenig's attempted murder trial is a photo of his wife, Ariel, her head and face covered in blood. H&N blurred the graphic image. The Maui anesthesiologist and his nuclear engineer wife went on a hike for her birthday at the Palipuka Trail on Oahu last March. Prosecutors say he tried to push her off the trail with its sheer cliff, attempted to stab her with a syringe, and that he hit her multiple times with a jagged rock.
He starts to take that rock and bash her in the head multiple times. Help! 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 Is what Ariel says while the defendant is hitting her.
But his defense attorney says she attacked first. He felt a shove and thought she tried to push him off the trail.
She picks up a rock and hits him in the face with it, and he quickly reacts, human reaction, grabs the rock, hits her twice, and stops.
Two hikers, both nurses, came upon the couple in the middle of the violence. They say he was on top of her. A 911 call was played in court.
Hi, what's currently being attacked on the top of Palipuka? Where? There's a man trying to kill her. She's blood all over her face. We heard her screaming, help, help, help me, and then we saw a man over her, and then she crawled out with blood over her face, saying that he's trying to kill her.
Koenig broke down when his attorney described an emotional FaceTime call after the violence to his 19-year-old son, saying he wanted to commit suicide. His parents sat in the gallery behind him.
He was calling him to say goodbye. He was calling him to tell him he was sorry. He was calling him to tell him that he wished he was a better man.
But prosecutors called it a confession.
He says, I'm not going to make it back. I tried to kill Ari, but she got away.
As for that bloody photo, prosecutors say she was hit multiple times, but the defense says medical evidence shows it was a head laceration, which bleeds a lot, and that Ariel was not seriously injured. Attorneys say a syringe and vial were never found. Opening statements included stories of Gerhardt's alleged anger over her refusal to take a selfie on the treacherous trail and Ariel's alleged affair with a coworker.
Trial is expected to last until mid-April. Reporting from Honolulu.
All right. Our thanks to Hawaii News Now there. Let me click out of this as well. When you get the videos ready, the next thing pops up. But it's a fascinating case, and one that a lot of the true crime family has been into for quite some time now. My time at Court TV, we were tracking it very closely, along with all of the managers there. This is a fascinating case because it's all going to come down to how the alleged victim does on the stand. And of course, who wants to testify? You're going to feel completely nervous just when you give a speech in front of your classroom, let alone, or your coworkers, let alone a judge and a jury. And then to know that there are cameras there and that everybody in the United States is tracking this case, one of the biggest cases in the country right now. We're sending her good energy and thoughts, but it looks like she may take the stand on the beginning of Monday after some arguments outside the presence of the jury, because they're going to have to go over those evidentiary issues, including those photographs and what she may or may not be able to say. There may be some stipulations with all of that. That's something to watch for. But again, the key witness, the star witness for the state of Hawaii, this alleged victim, is going to take the stand. So that's the big question. Let me know in the chat also if you think that this defendant will testify. We know in my big three tonight, Corey Richins chose not to take the stand. Whether or not that was a mistake, well, she has to answer that question, right? Or you can get in the chat. I think she should have testified. And I think that this guy really needs to testify because he's going to have to explain away what those witnesses already talked about him getting on top of his wife and allegedly beating her with a rock, and whether or not he was trying to stick her with a syringe. Remember, he's an anesthesiologist. He has access to all kinds of drugs, maybe try to paralyze her, maybe try to take her in that remote area. And this was on an island that they hadn't been to. This was an alleged vacation. So a lot really playing out. There's going to be big arguments when this all starts on Monday. And then, she's going to be on standby. She might be first on deck to take the stand. So let's talk about my third one. Ooh, another person that went through medical school. This is Suzanne Miracle. Did you watch this with me? So we were talking about those opening statements. That was a big day in South Georgia. This is a mother who allegedly attacked her live-in partner in their new home. They had just moved in. They went to dinner earlier that night at a chain restaurant. They watched a movie, and then something happened. And that's the reason why prosecutors said she snapped and she grabbed her gun, and what appears like he locked himself in the bathroom. Her defense says that she was trying to shoot the lock, but there are several other bullet holes in the door. And it was just shocking and very demonstrative that the prosecutors, and very smart, that they brought in that door for the jury to see just on day one. It's a fast moving trial, which I like. The judge is very kind and very thoughtful of the jury. On day one, I think that we had a sleepy juror, so they took an extra break for that person. But by all accounts, they're back on track. And so she is accused of murdering her boyfriend. She was accusing him of being unfaithful, according to prosecutors, which led to the fit of rage. She's also accused of tampering with evidence in the case. This all happened in March of 2025 in Gainesville, Georgia. She's 61. David Barron, the victim in all of this, was 68. But in opening statements, prosecutors said fit of rage. The defense, they're not holding back either. They made some very strong arguments but very disturbing allegations. And they were saying that she was abused over time. She was living in fear that he would do things like throw her belongings, including her purse, out of a moving car or a vehicle at some point in time. She was constantly in fear. And she had a gun, he had a gun. This was just a very terrible situation. And it was ongoing alleged abuse. Prosecutors, again, they called several witnesses on the first day, including the responding officers. And they not only played the 911 call, which was strange in itself. There were 3 calls that they played, if I'm not mistaken, where she's wailing and saying he's dead. But she's not doing anything like CPR, which was my point. And then she just goes on and on. But in the body camera video, if you haven't seen it already, go back to Court TV or Law and Crime or one of those and rewatch it, because it's really disturbing. She's throwing herself against the house at one point in time. They're trying to say, you know, do you need medical attention, ma'am? Are you doing okay? She's throwing herself against the wall. She's saying ridiculous things. She is appearing to vomit, allegedly, and she's appearing to cry, allegedly. But again, the witness, the first responder on the stand, said he didn't see any barf and he didn't see any tears. So let's bring in this bit of testimony. There we go. Because it's so powerful.
Give him grace.
There we go.
And he made me leave.
Yeah, I know.
And then I got told over, and they.
Miss Suzette, I'm just going to get some basic information from you, okay? I don't want to upset you
I had to
further.
spend the night on a piece of slab.
I know, I understand.
No, you don't. Today.
I'm sorry, I can't understand.
And then, is he alive? I don't. Oh my God! There was blood everywhere.
I mean, does that sound normal to you? Let me know.
Miss Suzette.
I have a normal life. I'm a normal person. I'm a dental practice.
I got you. Miss Suzette, I don't want to upset you any further.
He up the stairs.
Miss Suzanne, I need you to calm down for just 1 second, okay? I understand you got a lot going on. But look, if you don't want me here, I'm going to be leaving here in a second, okay? So, you don't want to go to the hospital, right? Suzanne, we're just here for you, okay? Making sure you're okay.
You need to be forgiven.
Yeah, he's taken care of. There's already somebody on that.
Is he alive?
They're doing all the
No, look at me. Look at me. Is he alive?
They're doing the most.
No, he's not alive, is he?
I don't know.
Is he alive?
No.
Why can't y'all tell me?
We don't know. I just showed up here, Miss Suzanne. I've been trying to talk to you, but you're not talking to me.
I am talking.
No, you keep getting hysterical, and I'm trying to talk to you. You don't want to go to the hospital with us, do you?
No.
Okay, I need you to sign right here, okay? These officers are going to do what they need to do and investigate further, okay? All right, so sign
This
right
is
here.
day 1 of the trial. She's the one at the table in stripes with her hair up, looking very different than her mugshot when she had blonde hair.
Radio 4216, Baltimore.
I'll ask you a couple more questions. What medications are you taking? Progesterone, okay. It's a hormone. Yep.
I take Lexapro
Okay. For what? Anxiety, depression?
for anxiety.
Anxiety, okay.
And then in the morning,
Do you have a history of high blood pressure?
no,
Okay, all right.
I've never had.
That's fine. You might just, I mean, you're just stressed out right now. Your pressure is elevated.
I take thyroid.
Okay, that is a very interesting case playing out there in the state of Georgia. Suzanne Miracle, you know what? It'll be interesting to see if she takes the stand. These are 3 big cases that I actually think that each one of these defendants should take the stand, because the reason why she needs to is because it's a self-defense defense. You can't claim self-defense and not get up there and say why you opened fire with your weapon. And not only did she open fire, there were several bullet holes. And then some of the casings were found in the plumbing, according to prosecutors. When they brought in that door, I said, bingo, that is the biggest piece of evidence in this case. So she's going to have to explain it away. And then there was also the hammer that was found lodged near the door, and it looked like she had been beating the door. Prosecutors are going to say that she was beating the door to try to get in to unlock it so that she can tamper with the scene. Because again, she's also charged with tampering with evidence. Whether or not he had his gun on him before or after he went into the bathroom really relies on if you believe that she broke into that bathroom after she allegedly murdered him. And then she was also seen with blood all over herself and cleaning up the scene with bloody towels. So let me know what you think about these cases. True Crime family, I am happy to be back with you. Matt is back and we are back together. Let's talk true crime. Do me a favor, hit subscribe. Ring the bell for events like this, because we're going to be talking true crime in the future. And you know what? Hit the like button and please share it. Please share this new true crime live stream with your friends, and let's get the word out. All right, everybody. Thank you.